Hello there. This is a bit of a odd random video. No microphones, no cameras, nothing like that. Just a phone. But I'm having a bit of a clear out, as you can tell, because I've got engines growing down here, you see, and I need room. So I'm just clearing some stuff out, and I found this box. And in this box, I shall place the camera. In this box, I found the cause of the BX, well, I believe is the cause of the BX's fuel issues. Everyone's sort of wondering why the hell is there so much in there. Well, this is why. This is the fuel gauge sender unit. Ain't meant to do that. So it comes apart. I don't think it's meant to do that either. And yeah, so you've got this. Basically, it's actually quite a cool little device. Rather than a swing arm, I did have one of those from an HDT, but I think I've just binned that. Yeah, it looks all corroded anyway. So rather than an arm that goes up and down a track with a lever with a float on the end of it, kind of like you get in an old toilet cistern, this is more like a new toilet cistern, even though this is 37 years old. So this is, yeah, it basically goes up and down with the fuel level there. But this is the wire that makes the contact, and that is not wiry anymore. That is possibly poisonous, I don't know, it looks a bit minging. Now this was full of rust, you can kind of see at the bottom there, and it's like the float itself, which looks like cork or something. I don't think it is, but still smells of old manky petrol, but I mean, yeah. And then that's the cylinder. Well, there we go. This is the cylinder that it travels up and down in. So there's a little hole in the bottom which allows the fuel to get in there, and then the float. I'm going to sneeze. The float goes up and down inside that tube. Now, I mean, that's just come out of there, and that's been removed for ages, so that was kicking about. However, a lot of what came out of there was emptied into this. This is the crate they were sitting in, apart from the piece of floor. My hair is getting so big. I think I should cut it really, but at the same time I'm kind of like, I want to see how big it goes. So there we go, this will give you a better idea of what is in the fuel tank. Bad filming that. So this is all the stuff that came out in this tub with this. Look at that. Oh, it's a pouring jug. Look. Oh, there's a hole in the bottom of that. That was dumb. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that the fuel tank is full of, and that's why it keeps jamming up. Why is it full of that? Don't know. I've taken other cars that have been sat up a long time and not had that issue. I mean, this is aluminium, so this is a bit corroded at the bottom there. You can see it's a bit, and I did actually clean that up when I took it out, because when I first took this out I didn't realise it was knackered. Fuel gauge wasn't working, so I assumed it might be, but I took it out and cleaned it. It was only after I cleaned it I took it apart and it had a lot more of that stuff in there, so it's all come from that. And then there's two holes in the top of a BX tank. So one of them is the sender unit. If I can get that to sit back, and that goes in there like that. So one's the sender unit, and then the other hole you've got the pickup. So you've got this here is the feed, and there's normally a filter on the bottom of that. There's normally a big round gauze sort of fine mesh filter, and this one here is the return. I keep looking at the wrong camera. This one here is the return, so basically anything it doesn't need, it just gets put back in. That goes to the bottom of the tank at that point. So it's quite a shallow tank, very wide, well, like a suitcase really. And that's what the fuel system was originally pulling through, but the fuel hose here had just crumbled away, and it's literally, look, That's supposed to be rubber. Yeah, it's just... so that I had to change this. Now luckily I found one of these on eBay, new old stock. But the problem is the filter that went on the bottom, couldn't find that. So I had to do away with that filter. In fact, I have got the remains of this filter that was here, because it pushes up to that washer there. And it was there was a retaining clip here, so it's like this big round barrel filter that went on the bottom. I've used the remains of that filter. It's still got the sides, but the bottom had disappeared completely. So what I did is I got some mesh and I wire locked it to the bottom of that filter, and thinking that that will stop most of what's in there. Not you know, this stuff. Just generally, you need a filter in there. And then I put that inline filter further up to replace what was missing at the bottom here. So it's kind of like, you know, belt and braces. And it's worked because it's caught all the crap. None of it's gone in the carburetor. The carburetor's quite clean. Unfortunately, the carburetor gets starved because everything before it gets so dirty. But it's better than it going in the carburetor, especially with a brand new £400 carburetor. So yeah, that's what came off it. So that is the original piece. Somehow I found a brand new one of these on eBay. It was about 40 quid. So I mean, look at the underside of it. You'd have to say, now I'm not one of these OMG E10 people, but there's something ethanol related going on with this, because the rust in there. I mean, you do get water and fuel anyway, just because of condensation and things. You'll get it in an empty tank. That's why they say it's better to fill a tank up if you're going to store a car, or completely drain it, one or the other. But yeah, they say better to fill it up, because if you leave a little bit in it, which is what this had, then yeah, there's a lot of space in there for condensation that then mixes with the fuel and sits below the fuel, and you know, so. But obviously ethanol, which I'm not, as I say, I'm not anti-ethanol, but with ethanol, it does absorb moisture. So you will be dragging more water in than you normally would. And being that this car had sat parked up since 2006, 2007, quite a lot of time to sit about. And ethanol was in fuel back then. Ethanol was in fuel back in the 90s, yeah. Pretty sure E5 started in the 90s. Everyone's going on like it's a new thing. It's not. It's been around like 20 years. It's just E10 is new for us. In Europe they do E85. Which is 85% ethanol. I accidentally filled my wife's little Saxo up with that. Right when we drove from France to Belgium in it. Fine, because it used it all. I didn't leave it sat in the car. We used it all in one hit, but yeah, I didn't realise. I just went for the cheapest one. So yeah, it was a Saxo, isn't it? Saxos are run on white spirit, probably. The TU engines are unbreakable, pretty much. So yeah, that's going in the bin. So I thought I would clear it up, and I would show you what I found. Well, there you go. There's another filter. This is a Saxo one, Saxo VTR. I'll come to why I've got this at a later date, but it involves the Hillman Imp video. But yeah, that's how a float normally works. You've got the float on the end there, and there's a level. This goes to the bottom of the tank, and as the fuel level comes up, that floats, and you see it's working on that track there. So it's kind of like, there you go, like that. And then that obviously comes out the connectors at the top there and goes off to the gauge at the front. Now sometimes they have dual contacts. I think this one it might not, depends. Sometimes the light is done by this, and sometimes it's done by separate means. There might be a micro switch inside here which just drops when the level goes down. But of course, this is so fat because this is a pump as well. So this is the fuel pump and the sender, which is pretty normal for a more modern car. And that's the filter. So it had a little filter bag there. That's the strainer filter. So any crap that's in a Saxo's tank doesn't get into the system because there's that. And to be fair, that is a fair bit more future-proof than the one that was in the BX. Because the one in the BX was metal, and metal rusts. Plastic doesn't. Plastic's good. Not good for the environment, but good for fuel tanks. So yeah. And you can take it apart. Pull the pump out and everything. This is a spare I'm keeping, but yeah, so there you go, bonus content. I'm going to carry on clearing up what I've got here so I can go home, but yeah, I'll see you soon.